The quiet hum of summer in Port Charles was shattered the moment disaster struck at the most anticipated wedding of the year. A day that was meant to bring peace instead exploded into chaos, betrayal, and the beginning of a terrifying manhunt. In the ashes of the event, Willow Tate vanished without a trace. As the city reels from the shocking aftermath, the truth slowly unravels, leading to a horrifying realization. Isaiah is not done yet. And this time he wants someone alive. It began like any beautiful ceremony. Guests gathered at the Quartermain estate for a lavish wedding. The scent of roses drifted in the air, champagne flowed, and Willow glowed in an elegant white gown, standing beside Michael Corinthos, her hands trembling with excitement. But as vows were exchanged, a cold wind swept across the garden, and all eyes turned when a loud crack shattered the moment. A hidden explosive device, planted days before under the podium, detonated beneath the altar. Screams echoed. Chaos erupted. Bloodied guests scattered, and Michael tackled Willow to the ground. Olivia, Brooklyn, and Sasha cried out as smoke engulfed the scene. Paramedics rushed in. Dante, barely on his feet after his injury weeks ago, called in reinforcements, suspecting an orchestrated attack. But one thing was clear in the chaos. Isaiah had made his move. In the confusion, Michael realized Willow was no longer beside him. "What do you mean she's gone?" he roared at a stunned Carly, who had just regained consciousness from the shockwave. No one saw her leave. No security footage. No witnesses. The only clue, a smudged fingerprint on the hood of a black van abandoned near the estate, and a bouquet left behind, crushed under boot prints heading toward the woods. Michael broke down, convinced she'd been taken. But Jason, who had returned to Port Charles under mysterious circumstances, suspected something else. "She ran," Jason said darkly. "She knew something, or feared something more than this explosion." And he was right. Nestled deep in the Adirondacks, a rundown cottage barely visible from the road now served as Willow's sanctuary. Her face bruised, her wedding dress torn, she stared into a cracked mirror with vacant eyes. A prepaid phone sat next to her untouched. She had one person to call, someone she never thought she'd meet again. But instead, Willow opened a leather-bound journal and began writing. "If this reaches anyone, know that I left for a reason. Michael, I'm sorry. But Isaiah, he's not done. And if I stayed, everyone would die." Back in Port Charles, Isaiah sat at the docks, watching the water reflect the moonlight. He held a photograph. Faded, wrinkled. It was of his real family, not the one Sonny destroyed. He whispered to himself, "They think they buried me, but I'm the one doing the burying now." Isaiah's next plan wasn't about killing. It was about taking. He would strike where it hurt the most, the child Willow never told anyone about. Yes, that secret. Months before the wedding, Willow had discovered she was pregnant again. She had kept it from everyone, not out of fear of judgment, but out of fear of what Isaiah might do. Michael had enough to deal with. The Quartermain legacy, his mother's battles, Sonny's fall from grace, and Drew's erratic spiral into darkness. She wanted to protect their peace. Now Isaiah had learned of the child.
And he wanted him.
Nina stood in the chapel ruins, holding a single shard of stained glass. Her relationship with Willow had always been strained, but the silence that followed Willow's disappearance struck her with a mother's dread. "I think she called me," Nina confessed to Carly. "You?" Carly's voice was sharp, disbelieving. Nina nodded. She didn't say anything, just breathing. "But I knew." Carly swallowed her pride. "If we want her back, we work together. No lies. No rivalry." In a move no one saw coming, Nina and Carly began piecing together where Willow might have gone, following breadcrumbs left in charity records, old journals, and encrypted emails Willow had sent herself. Meanwhile, Drew Kane had gone rogue. Convinced that Willow was being manipulated, he launched his own investigation, even turning against Michael when he tried to interfere. "I don't trust you anymore." Drew spat at Michael. "You couldn't even protect her at the altar." Michael punched him. Hard. But Drew had something Michael didn't: access to old WSB files, and a connection to Isaiah's handler, who had mysteriously vanished. When Drew uncovered Isaiah's psychological profile, he learned something chilling. Isaiah didn't want to kill Willow. He wanted to replace her. 3 weeks after the wedding, Isaiah made his move. Under the guise of a pediatrician, he infiltrated a private clinic outside Port Charles. The child, a boy named Jonah, born prematurely and hidden under an alias, was there recovering from respiratory issues. But Isaiah didn't count on Sasha. Sasha, following a hunch after overhearing hospital chatter, found herself in a nightmare scenario. She burst into the room moments before Isaiah lifted Jonah from the crib. "Put him down," she screamed, holding a scalpel she'd grabbed in panic. Isaiah turned slowly, grinned, and whispered, "Wrong, mother." They fought. Sasha was injured, a deep slash across her arm, but she managed to trigger the emergency alarm. Isaiah fled, but not before looking at Jonah and saying, "Soon." Port Charles turned into a war zone. Jason led a small team including Dante, Curtis, and Jocelyn to track Isaiah. Using old surveillance footage, intercepted messages, and Sasha's description, they traced him to a warehouse near Spoon Island. But the warehouse was empty, except for a note nailed to the wall. "Tick-tock. You're running out of time. She's not hiding from me. She's hiding from you." Jason's expression darkened. "We've been looking in the wrong places." He turned to Jocelyn. "You need to find her." "Why me?" she asked. "Because she trusts you," he said. "And Isaiah doesn't know that yet." Jocelyn eventually tracked Willow to the Adirondack cottage, not through tech, but by remembering a story Willow once told her about her mother's favorite hiking trail. She found Willow near the lake, pale and weakened. "You don't understand," Willow sobbed. "If I come back, he'll take Jonah. I'd rather die out here than lead him to my son." Jocelyn grabbed her shoulders. "You're not alone anymore." But it was too late. From the tree line, Isaiah stepped out. "Touching," he said coldly. "But this is a reunion I need to ruin." What Isaiah didn't count on was Willow's transformation. She was no longer the delicate woman haunted by leukemia and family secrets. She was a mother, a warrior. As Isaiah advanced, Willow threw the contents of a camping kettle in his face, boiling water, and tackled him into the lake. Jocelyn dragged Jonah from the cabin as Jason and Dante arrived, alerted by a tracker Jocelyn had embedded in her bracelet. Isaiah was pulled from the water and arrested. "I'll be back," he snarled. "This isn't over." Back in Port Charles, Willow finally reunited with Michael and held Jonah in her arms under the protection of WSB operatives. But the scars remained. Dante lost hearing in one ear from the warehouse explosion. Sasha began therapy for PTSD. Jason returned to the shadows, his mission complete. And Carly and Nina's alliance slowly faded, but not without leaving seeds of mutual respect. Willow wrote one final journal entry. "I thought hiding would save everyone, but it only gave the monster time to grow. I won't run again." In a maximum security facility, Isaiah stared into a cracked mirror. He smiled, because outside the prison someone new had arrived in Port Charles. A woman claiming to be his half-sister. A woman with blue eyes and a syringe hidden in her coat. And the war was just beginning again. Nina receives a mysterious package from Buenos Aires. Gio confronts Dex about a betrayal involving Donna. Trina discovers a bloodstained necklace in Spencer's old locker. Olivia faints after a shocking visitor arrives at the Metro Court. And Brooke Lynn finds a letter that could destroy the Quartermaines forever.